Okay, everyone, so we have some more good news concerning coronavirus vaccines. The Oxford vaccine, the one that had to be put on pause about a month or two ago for an adverse effect that was found to not be related to the vaccine, has now officially published its phase 2 results. Now, yes, in the past week or two, Pfizer and Moderna have come out with results concerning their phase 3, which of course includes much more participants and is the final stage. However, they were only preliminary results and they were not peer reviewed. However, in this case, Oxford published the peer reviewed results of the phase 2 of their vaccine. So this included about 560 people, and the main finding of it and how it's been promoted all of today since the news came out is that the vaccine is as effective among older people than younger people. And in fact, the adverse effects seem to be even less for older people. So this is all really great. Of course, older people are much more severely impacted by the virus if they get it. Just one thing to note though is that, however, in these trials, they don't include anybody who's sick. So everybody is relatively healthy. So we don't know how the response would be among people who have any underlying health diseases. But it works well with older people. However, when you think about it, that younger people get some serious adverse effects. Not serious, but sick, high fever for half a day. Pretty much the kind of worst side effects that you get from a vaccine typically. Seems like corona vaccines give you that. So it'll be interesting to see if people who are slightly sick, if they can deal with that. But yeah, Sam, some good news came out today, huh?
Yeah, that's finally, it seems that many of the vaccines are passing the final stages of their trials. So hopefully, I think soon, well, we'll get into it, but I think by December, end of December, January, hopefully they're gonna probably start giving it out to the general population. I would assume maybe a bit later, depending on the country, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think Pfizer, which was the first one to make those promises, and Pfizer, in the context of the US, they're not actually part of Operation Warp Speed. So they have
Oh,
received,
uh,
but they have received an X amount of like guaranteed orders from the United States, but they did not use like government money initially. So I wonder if they're going to take care of the distribution themselves. And apparently they're setting up a pilot for distribution in the coming month in two or three American cities just to see that how they can distribute it. Because their promise is that they'll have 20 million doses ready by the end of the year and 500 million doses next year. And this will just be Pfizer. But yeah, so these
that,
results, they're really good, like I said, because they're peer reviewed. So once again, they showed. And Oxford, I believe the Europeans are also monitoring Oxford's phase 3 results in live because, of course, most of their pre-orders have been in the European side, have been with the Oxford vaccine, where the phase 2 results came out now. And Pfizer and Moderna had over 90% apparently efficiency, which is really good.
yeah, that's great. To be honest, that's something actually I wanted to do. You mentioned that they did it privately or independently, but I think the corona vaccine, because before corona, the the earliest vaccine was produced for a disease or a virus was 4 years. And I think this is a great example of showing that when government wants something to happen, whether it's done, we'll get into it, like the Iranian case or the Russian case, whether it's done through the government or whether it's done through private companies with government funds, it seems that a state-led development leads to much faster results than, just private development.
100%, 100%. And all these, and the other thing is that even though Pfizer did not maybe take money from the government for their development, they're getting that guaranteed of the
And
government order.
$1 million, I
Yeah,
think. Well,
so I mean, that's of course everything. The risk and the other ones are so closely involved with the government, exactly, and with government funded institutions, universities, scientists. And yeah, when you try to make something happen, and I don't know, I don't think they're jumping through that many, maybe they're not. I think they're following safety protocols, it seems, more or less, of
well,
course, in an
yeah, no, no.
accelerated way, because some trials were halted. so far results have been shown to not be due to the vaccine, or at least if there've been adverse effects, they've been small enough. Like today, Oxford, I mean, they put out their results in a peer-reviewed journal, and this actually made me think of something. I feel like when they talk about like these companies, they say, "Oh, we're going to be very transparent." I feel like for them, it's not the process. They don't mean that the process will be transparent. Because, for instance, Oxford didn't come out and tell everybody, oh shit, we have to stop the trial because someone had a bad adverse effect. They weren't too transparent with that. I think they kind of mean that, listen, when the trial is over, we'll publish the results in a transparent way and peer reviewed. Because before, they weren't too transparent initially with that, with what had happened on the adverse effect.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And uh yeah, no, I mean, it's good to be transparent, but I would assume that, yeah, I mean, I don't think they're jumping through hoops or anything because it has taken some time.
Yeah,
And I just think when you read about history of scientific research, most of the problem seems to be funding and getting enough people involved and all that. So they don't have those issues. It's
exactly.
not an issue for them. So it can. I mean, that's what like a state-led development basically means. You use a state's resources to achieve a certain goal very fast, and that seems to be better than just leaving it to the markets. I mean, clear in emergency, even capitalists seem to agree this is
Yeah.
the best system. But maybe even we can perhaps see this as something we can emulate in non-emergency situations. Some like I would say climate change is as emergency, that's as much of a threat as corona, right? So maybe if we try to deal with that in a similar fashion, who knows? Maybe it can be a good role model. But that was just a side issue, to
No,
be
but
honest.
honestly, that's such a good point. And just the basic part of your point, any project that you take, anything, if you at least take care of the money part, that's like half the issues usually, dedicating
Yeah,
enough resources, not having one person doing the job of like two and getting
yeah.
things done and really having the will to make something happen. And governments, if they want, they technically have unlimited resources in a way. That's why you
I
can't make a
guess.
nuclear bomb privately. I mean, I don't. Maybe you
Yeah.
can, but
Well, some people in America probably can. But yeah, you're right. I mean, especially we are talking about obviously bigger states. We are not
yeah,
talking about some, like a landlocked nation size of 2 kilometers.
yeah,
America, Russia, European countries. That.
yeah. Okay. And speaking of Russia, I think you pointed this out to me last week. We were just chit chatting. Is that they
Yeah.
also say that their vaccine is around 92% effective or even more. So I looked
No, no,
into the yeah.
it's 92%. It was very surprising to me that it came out before the Moderna vaccine news. It came out apparently the same day or the day after the Pfizer announcement, but it got literally
Yeah,
no coverage. A Sputnik 5, I believe, a Sputnik V,
yeah.
the Roman number. So yeah, sorry, but go ahead.
No, and in a way, exactly, there were similar results. All three of them were from phase three, preliminary, and not peer reviewed. The only difference is that I've seen pointed out is that for all of them, before making the preliminary results available, they waited for a certain number of people out of both the control and the experiment group who got vaccinated to get the coronavirus. So apparently, Pfizer and Moderna waited for like 90 people to get the vac or something like that. So a certain number, and then you see, okay, all of these people, most of them are associated with the control group. So there was enough disease going around, and these people didn't get it. So apparently the Russian ones, they haven't reached that exact threshold that Pfizer and Moderna waited. So number of people who got sick, they're a bit lower. But yeah, that's the only kind of difference that I've found between them. If so, yeah, you're right. They were very similar kind of results, preliminary, non-peer reviewed. One got no attention, and the other two like changed the world.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And should I give updates on other countries as well?
Ah, yes, please.
Oh, apparently India is doing one with Oxford AstraZeneca. Covaxing, it's called, and that's in the later stages. Johnson and Johnson is on
True.
later stages, and they are showing positive results. China is Sinovac Biotech, that's the name of the company, is creating a corona vaccine that is apparently very quick to trigger the immune responses in the body. Uh, so that's been going well. Iran actually is creating a vaccine through some governmental organization, like sort of governmental foundations, really. And let me just give you an update. Yeah.
Right before
It, oh,
you give the Iran one, you just said something very interesting about the immune response and the Chinese one. It's just
yeah,
one
yeah.
thing about the Russian I remembered. So a few doctors apparently who had been vaccinated still got the virus, but the Russians claimed that that was either the same day as they got vaccinated or the day after, and they contracted it. And interestingly, in the Oxford results that were made public today, they did not check if people got contaminated within the first 2 weeks of receiving the dose. So those 2 weeks they don't consider because exactly it wouldn't have kicked in the immunity response yet.
All right, I see. I see. Well, look, Iran is developing the vaccine through the pharmaceutical department of the headquarters for executing the order of the Imam, and they have successfully passed the first and second phases and are going through the third phase right now. Apparently, they're doing it in a unique way, using a stem cell and cell therapy technology, and apparently in early November they started the phase 3 human trials,
Oh
and they are
wow.
hoping in early November they said they are hoping to have it ready by in 4 months. So like let's say February, something like that. So there are vaccines being developed all throughout, it seems, basically. The world, it seems Russia and US are just ahead of everybody.
Yeah. No, exactly. There are like hundreds of vaccines pretty much around. And China is also one. I mean, China, we did a story, I think,
Chinese
a
one?
few weeks ago where they have vaccine and they vaccinate some people who say they're about to travel or are being sent for overseas work. So
Hmm.
it's reported that hundreds of thousands of Chinese people outside of trials have been vaccinated already. But yeah, it's interesting. Like somewhere like Iran, they're probably going to have access to the Russian vaccine and possibly to the Chinese vaccine too if they want it. But they're also developing their own.
They already also put an order for some of the European vaccines being developed because they can buy those as well. Probably
Yeah,
they'll have a problem buying the Pfizer one directly, but Pfizer has developed that with the German company, so they
yeah.
may be able to get that from the German company or something.
No, exactly. So now that we mentioned a bit of a few countries and stuff, so I'm just looking at the chart right now about who has secured the most COVID-19 vaccine doses.
Mm.
So India is leading them, of course, the EU, and then US, and then in fourth place it's COVAX. And COVAX, I believe, is an organization established, it's an intergovernmental organization to help with the development of vaccines and also their distribution. So I'm guessing they're securing 500 million and they will be vaccinating possibly based on different criterias. I don't know around the world. I'm not too sure. And then yeah, we got all the other big countries, of course, in the top 10 have secured the most doses of vaccine. It's good to see that India's up there though.
Yeah, but I saw there was a clarification regarding India because
Yeah.
they
Yeah, let me
like
read
some of
that
it
right
came
now.
from somewhere, some of it ordered.
Yeah, I think it's just that it's just giving a breakdown that they're from different places, not that there's anything wrong with it. And 1
Oh,
billion of them are with AstraZeneca, which is the Oxford one.
oh, all right.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. If they release the vaccine, would you get it?
I okay, the thing is, yes, I would. Even if they came knocking on my door right now, I think I would be okay with it. But in reality, that's not gonna be the case. By the time I get it, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of people would have received it in Europe and North America. And I think by then the evidence will be overwhelming. So
Mm.
I think that some people are skeptics about all kinds of vaccines. I only found this out about 2 to 3 years ago, but it's a serious thing, especially in the U.S. Apparently, other places people don't want to get their kids vaccinated. So these kind of people, sure, but other people who weren't vaccine skeptics, I believe, as time passes by and whenever it's eventually their turn, which could be, in a year, 6 months to a year, I think by then people will be more willing. But what
Well,
about you?
I'm not sure to be honest. It's a tough one because I am not a big fan of, letting government, touching my body, no less
Wait, I think I heard a
inside of
knock.
my
I
body.
think they're outside. Okay, they've come with
Yeah.
the 2 doses right now, Sam.
Where is my tinfoil hat? Where is my tinfoil? I'll I'll probably do it, of course, but I don't. I think, to be honest, if they make it mandatory for people to go, if they want to travel or if they want to do a job or something, then most people would get it. I don't know. I don't know. I might wait a bit just to see if anybody large scale, I don't know,
Yeah,
develop
but
the second, third hand, or I don't know, fourth arm or something. So yeah, but I am not complete. I don't know. There is this suspicious at the bottom of my heart always, but no, I'll probably get it. Um, you know, get it, and yeah, I would think if they make it mandatory, or if most people would get it, I think there are very margins. Very
yeah.
few are that hardcore. That hardcore crazy. Do you think Alex Jones will get it?
But that's a good point, with the traveling. I think, I think like making it mandatory by law in your own country. Maybe there you
They
should
can,
just try to move around it without literally doing that. But then on
maybe,
travel restrictions, I can so see this. Oh, you want to go to France? Please show your COVID-19 vaccine a month before you were vaccinated.
yeah, because already many African
Yeah.
countries and in India, if you want to travel there, you have to do vaccination of certain kind.
Yeah, no, it's very normal.
Yeah, yeah. So I can see that happening. That's at least a lot of countries would say
Yeah.
we need a thing vaccine slip or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But
But I
okay.
doubt there will be a big backlash. I doubt it.
But all right, so let's just end on the $1 million question, which is immunity. Of course,
Uh,
for how long people will have immunity, and of course, there is still no information on that. Maybe in a year, something like that, we'll know because people will have to be vaccinated for a while. However, some studies are starting to be done on not considering how long people are immune after being vaccinated, but after contracting the virus. So I found this one study from about 2 to 3 weeks ago. It's a small study. It only included 92 people, and these 92 people had been infected with COVID-19 between March and June in the United States. And the researchers found that one of the key antibodies, it usually tends to decline very quickly over the course of the 3 to 4 months. However, in about 20% of their sample, antibody production remained stable or enhanced. So they found out that people who actually healed much more quickly, so on average, the virus had left their body within 10 days compared to 16, which is what some people had or longer. Those people who got rid of the virus quicker also had the antibody or one of the key antibodies in their body for much longer. So I think with many other aspects of this virus, some people get super sick, some people don't even know how they have it. There could be a chance that the how long people are immune is longer, and it depends on the person as well.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, of course. Immunity is an interesting one. This is somewhat unrelated, but in a couple of months ago, when I was watching Useful Idiots, they had this professor on who is one of the people who discovered AIDS, and he said that there is something called innate immune system, and if you take polio vaccine, apparently you can take polio vaccine like a pill or like a drop, and it sort of triggers your innate immune system, and that's the immune system that is the last, like the most fundamental defense you have against viruses. So, there may be many different ways to basically push that up. I don't know. They were doing some research. I don't know how
Yeah.
did the research turn out.
No,
So,
it's interesting. Just remind me of one thing, part of this, which I think is kind of related. It's from the results that came out today, which is that some people who did contract the virus and they had been vaccinated, they contract in a much less severe way than those who hadn't been vaccinated. So even like different levels of immunity, some people might still get kind of sick, some people might not. But yeah, I think that's still the main question that we're gonna have to wait for another year or two to get some good responses concerning coronavirus specifically. But okay, so that's it for us. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.